Hello, good afternoon. We're back. Okay, we're back. So, andyan pa ba si Jean? Jean, nandyan ka pa?
Sir?
O, sige ha. Paki-monitor yung attendance ha. Nabawasan tayo. Kanina 39 tayo, ngayon 22 na lang. Okay, we are on the last part. After research paper, after business proposal, we will now write a good position paper. Okay? How to write a position paper. So I'll share my screen with you. Okay? Nakikita ba, class? Nakikita?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Position paper. How to write a good position paper.
Hello students, this is Sir Kenneth Santos from Caloocan
Naririnig? Class, naririnig?
Opo, sir.
Okay, sige.
High School. Today, our lesson is writing a good position paper. At the end of this video lesson, you will learn how to write a good position paper by presenting arguments supported by properly cited factual evidence. To start, here are some reminders before you continue with this video lesson. First, watch and listen actively. Second, you may jot down notes and questions that you want to ask your teacher later. Third, you can pause this video to absorb some information and then play once ready. Fourth, you can replay this video to make sure concepts are clear, and if you still have some clarifications or confusions, please ask your respective teachers online. And fifth, enjoy learning.
Today, our lesson is writing a good position paper. In this course, you will learn to write a strong and good position paper by presenting arguments supported by factual evidence from refutable sources. To start, let's define position paper. A position paper is a debate on paper, an essay that provides a researched, reasoned, and logical defense of a position within a current debate. It presents one side of an arguable opinion about an issue. The goal of this paper is to convince the audience that your opinion is valid and defensible, and you have to assume that your reader would argue the opposite. Next is what is not a position paper. It's not an opportunity to be right, because position papers tackle large philosophical, moral, social, and cultural problems that cannot be boiled down to just right or wrong. The main goal is to persuade your readers and not make your opponent look less intelligent. Think about how you can be more persuasive than your opponent. Later, we'll talk about some few things regarding your audience. And why is it important to learn writing a good position paper? Though it is used primarily by lawyers, columnists, writers, in reality as students, we love to express our opinion. Especially nowadays, it's a good sign that the Filipino people are engaging themselves to current events, politics, and social issues, and we use social media platforms to express our opinion. That's good. But the last thing that you want is to gain more enemies on social media and fight with your family and friends. So it's good that you are watching this video lesson. When you have a hostile or unfriendly audience, be careful. First is watch your tone. Again, you write not because you want to make others look stupid. Watch your tone by avoiding profanity. Use more logos than pathos. Logos is an appeal to logic. It depends on logic and facts to persuade the audience. For example, we should extend the lockdown to flatten the curve. According to DOH, the total number of cases in our country is 10,250. See that the person presented a data, and that could be your logic. Next is pathos. Pathos is an appeal using emotion. It creates an emotional response to convince the audience. Example, I think we have to end the lockdown because I really feel sorry for the poor. They will die. Notice the argument presented. It's more of an emotional response rather than it presents a data. Next is you have to establish your ethos early. Ethos is an appeal to ethics. It depends on credibility and expertise as persuasive techniques. Example, I have read a lot of articles on the issues. The senators in the Congress support the network to operate. You have to establish your ethos early, meaning you have to convince your reader or your audience that you are credible because you read a lot and you research on the issue. And lastly, it's okay to offer a concession. Not everybody is totally right about everything, and not everything is totally wrong. It's called nuance. It's okay to say, this side of argument has a legitimate point that I don't have a counter to, but that doesn't mean your whole paper is a trash. Remember, the purpose here is to persuade your audience, not alienate them. Now, how to start? First is you have to select a current debate. Next is identify and review source. Third, identify at least two positions. In here, you will need a lot of brainstorming and do some readings about the topic. And you have to ask yourself some questions before you proceed. Is the topic debatable? Are there at least two positions? Can you defend the position you want to select? If the answer is no, then think of a new topic. But if it's yes, you may now proceed. Next step, select a position within the debate. Then identify major strengths and weaknesses of the position. And after that, start writing your outline and draft your paper, revise, and publish. You have to remember that the strengths make up the body of the paper and the weaknesses are the counter argument. Let's talk about your outline. In outline, there's the background, the position, and the thesis statement, your thesis statement. And next is the counter argument. You have to introduce the claims, evidence, and the refutations. The body will be your argument. You have to present your claim, evidence, and analysis, and reassert your thesis. And in the conclusion part, again, reassert your thesis, summarize points, and call to action. A strong outline is the key to writing a successful position paper. Now look at the contents of the introduction. Introduce the topic. Provide background on the topic to explain why it's important. Assert the thesis statement or your view of the issue. A thesis statement states the purpose and main idea of your essay. Your introduction has a dual purpose, to indicate both the topic and your approach to your thesis statement, and to arouse your readers' interest in what you have to say. For the counter-argument contents, we have introduced opposing position, summarize the counterclaims, provide supporting information or evidence, refute the counterclaims, and give evidence for argument. When you are summarizing opposing arguments, be charitable. Present each argument fairly and objectively rather than trying to make it look foolish. You want to show that you have seriously considered the many sides of the issue and that you are not simply attacking or mocking your opponents. Beware of the strawman logical fallacy that can ruin legitimate counter-argument. Strawman logical fallacy is based on giving the impression of refuting an opponent's argument while actually refuting an argument that was not presented by the opponent. For the body, we have 3 points. We have to assert point number 1, your point number 2, and point number 3, but make sure to give your educated and informed opinion and provide support or proof using more than one source. There will be at least 3 body paragraphs. Each one is centered on one of the major points. Meanwhile, here are some suggested sources, a type of information, type of source, and how to find these sources. For example, if you are looking for in-depth studies or law-related issue, you may read books, government report from library catalog, government websites, and jurisprudence. If you want to screenshot this slide for reference, you may do so. Lastly, for the conclusion, you have to restate your argument position. Summarize the major points you made in the body and provide a plan of action, but do not introduce new information. The simplest and most basic conclusion is one that restates the thesis in different words and then discusses its implications. Just like in a debate, this is your last word and last chance to change the reader's mind. After learning the process of writing a good position paper, it's good that we know how to apply it in real life. So here are some reminders and application tips. Look at the meme. It says, last week virology expert, ngayon telecommunication law expert. That kind of meme is smart shaming. Avoid smart shaming. Attack the idea and not the person by presenting arguments supported by evidence. Let us be happy that more people are becoming engaged in social issues and politics. That's a sign of a good democracy. When we smart shame people, it does not make us smarter. always show respect. Next is CTTO, or credit to the owner. Beware of CTTO copy-paste posts. Try not to copy and paste argument. Do your own reading and research. While it is not bad to share CTTO posts, be sure that information or data presented are factual and not fake news. Number of likes and shares on social media does not make arguments more valid. You may use them as a reference for a position but provide citations. And you have to try writing your own positions and conduct research. And lastly, remember this: relationship is more important than your argument. I hope you don't get to fight with your real life friends just to share different stand on an issue. We write position paper to persuade, not to fight. Okay? Now, you have to practice on your own. Write a position paper on the suggested topics. Make sure to include the 4 parts of a position paper: introduction, counter argument, body, and conclusion. After writing, you may want to contact online your respective teachers to have it assessed.
Thank you so much for watching this video lesson, and I hope you learned something today. Again, this is Mr. Ken Santos from Caloocan High School. I'd like to remind you to always wash your hands and wear masks, and always be clean to avoid the virus. Be safe. God bless you all. Thank you.
Okay, class. Did you learn something from the video? Did you learn something from the video, class? Class, sumagot nga kayo. Okay, ano yung sinabi niya dun sa last part? What is more important than our argument? Ano yung mas mahalaga sa argument natin? What is more important than our argument? Okay, correct si Carl. Okay, sabi ni Carl, the relationship. Always remember those things when doing position papers. Relationship is more important than your argument. Parang ano lang yan. Mas mahalagang maging kind. It is better to be kind than to be correct. Okay? Always remember those things, Relationship is more important than your argument. Kindness is more important than being right. It is more important to be kind than to be correct. Okay? So may tanong ba? May tanong ba, class, bago tayo matapos? It's 4:10 on my clock. Medyo maaga tayong natapos ngayon. Kasi wala akong boses, kaya pinapanood ko muna kayo ng video. Okay, so if you have questions on your LMS activities, you may open our lessons para balikan niyo sila. Okay, may tanong ba, Jean? Jean.
Po.
Nakuha yung attendance?
Opo.
Okay, so class, may tanong ba? Magpapatuloy tayo next week. We will continue with this next week. Okay? Okay, class, may tanong? Wala nang tanong. So, pwede na tayong mag-end. Okay, let us see each other again on Tuesday next week. Okay, Tuesday next week. Okay. So, God bless everybody. Good afternoon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, sir.
Bye-bye.